Hello viewers, welcome to the video lecture series for job role of a hand embroiderer class 10th, Unit 3, Session 1. Today in this video we will learn a stitch of Gujarat, that is Kachi Bharat. It is also called as Sindhi Stitch. Before starting this embroidery, I would like you to know that it is one of the difficult embroideries, but once if you understand the embroidery steps, you will enjoy creating beautiful motifs, small buttas, creating new items. We can use this embroidery in various garments and home furnishing items. It is used on borders of kurtas, necklines, ghagras, cholis, and in home furnishing item you can make bed sheets, pillow covers, handkerchiefs, bags, purses and etc. To start any embroidery, we need a few materials like embroidery hoops, starch-free fabric, threads, needles, tracing paper, carbon paper, pen or pencil and a design. The embroidery is prepared in 2 layers. To prepare the base, we basically need to make equal size of square boxes. This is the basic pattern I am trying to explain so that this will be easier for everybody to understand. Let us start to prepare the base of the fabric. To understand the base of the fabric for the stitch Sindhi Kadai, it is important. For this base, we need 1, 2, 3, 4 equal size of boxes created. The equal sizes of box will actually help us to create the perfect design. And after creating these 4 boxes, there would be a 5th number box in the center, which will be number 5. Always mention the numbering as 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5. Which will help us further for the embroidery. You can also give all the points the numbering so that it will be a clear embroidery steps. For tracing the design, we need the tracing paper, we need the fabric which is starch free, a carbon paper. Place the fabric, then place the carbon paper on the fabric. Now start tracing the design on the fabric. Make sure the edges of the design are clear. We need a perfect squares on 4 edges. While tracing, the edges of the design should be clean. We must always try to give 1, 2, 3 and 4 numbering and the 5th one to the boxes, which will help us create. Now as you all know, our tracing is ready and our fabric is ready for embroidery. See, it's a beautiful one. Now, before starting the embroidery, we need to fix the fabric on the ring. So, loosen the screws of the ring. Keep the smaller one below. Then keep the fabric on it. Make sure the design fits on the ring or the size of the ring is perfect according to the design. The fabric should be quite tight so that it should be tight enough. As I told you, the base of the fabric and floating threads are the 2 steps for Sindhi Kadai. So let us start with the base of embroidery. For the base of embroidery, I have taken the yellow thread, and for the floating threads, I will be taking the red thread. For the base or the floating threads, we are supposed to take 2 to 3 strands, not more than that, or else it will be disturbing the embroidery. So let us start. Before starting, we must mention the numbering. Take a box, 1, 2, 3 and 4. On every point, we are supposed to give them numbering. I will be taking 1, 2, 3, 4. In this design, there are 4 boxes, but in every box, I have given it a number. 1, 2, 3, 4 and you can see the 5. As I explained you, we also have to give each edge a number, which will help us to create a perfect design and to understand better. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. The reason why I have taken 1, 2 and here 3 is the base of the design will start from here, then go to the 2 number and then it will go float over here. The steps of embroidery. So let's start the embroidery. Tie a knot at the edge of a thread. From the below, take the thread upwards. Just put the needle a little away from the point number 1. Don't take it from the exact one, that is the reason. Hold the thread here. While going to the number 2, we have to take a little piece of fabric and from a little far from number 2, make sure the thread is going round and this will. Then from number 2, we'll go to number 3. Similarly, take a little fabric far away from number 3. Make sure when you remove the needle on any point, take a little fabric again on number 4. Make sure the thread is rounded, which creates a box. From number 1, 2, 3, then 4, I've come to 5. While going to number 6, I will overlap the thread from this line. Then taking a little fabric and removing it on number 6. The important point I need to mention, some important tips which we must keep in mind while doing Sindhi Kadai. We should not take too many threads. We should always keep on moving the ring while doing the embroidery. The moving the ring will help us to create in a simpler way. Make sure the thread is not too long and neither too short. We must try to complete the base with one single thread. Now I have reached to this point number 11. I'm taking this thread here and on this point you can see one is up and one will go down. This is the most important point we must keep in mind for the whole stitch. One will go up, one will go down, one will go up and the other will go down. This step is going continuous even in the floating threads and even in the base. The base of the Sindhi stitch has to be tight enough because the floating threads has to be loose. So make sure that the boxes are quite tight. Now finishing the edge, finishing the base, I need to close the base thread on number 1, on the point number 1. Now at the back side of the fabric, lock the stitch. Cut the thread. As you can see, the base is ready now. Now for creating the floating threads, the floating thread will be created on above the base. So for that floating threads, I will be taking red color threads, which will help you to understand each and every step. For the floating threads, we are taking the red color, which will help you to understand all the steps clearly. Insert 3 to 2 thread strands in a needle because more threads will create. Make sure you take 2 to 3 strands of threads only. Again, start with number 1. For this step, you have to take slide from the side. On every point, we have created these boxes and the corners. From the corner, we have to start, remove the thread. From the below, take the red strand. This will go above the box number, line number 1. Take this red strand above the line number 1. Then go to number 2. For this, take it from below. As I've told you, from 1 we jump to 2, from 2 we have jumped to, from number 1 I've gone to number 2, up, down, then again down, up, then from number 2 I'm going to number 9. For going to number 9, this is again lower, this will go above. At any point if we try to pull the threads, the embroidery is gone. We will never get a look of the embroidery of Sindhi Karai when we pull the strands. Now from point 1 to 2, we are crossing the middle box, then we have gone to number 9. Now this is an important point we need to see. It goes from below, and on the first layer of red, it will go on top. Again, a small petal is created. Going to number 10, below the thread base number 10. Make sure the other threads don't move. As you can see, here a thread is pulled. Again, from the yellow base above the red thread, above the yellow thread, going below the number, above, below, up, down, down. Here you are supposed to take down, the thread needle will go up. So on this box, a flower is created. From here we will go to box number 2. At the center you will see another petals are created. We have completed one box. As you can see, on this edges of the box there are 4 petals created. Now we are going on another box, because the look of the petals is the beauty of the design. Now at this step, you have to take it from below, above. At this point, again the thread will go below, above, and this box is complete. Make sure you use your fingers for a neat look. Similarly, while creating these boxes, it's the same step. The center box will also create below, above, below and above. As you can see, 3 boxes are already created, and the 4th box, which is the center one, which is already created. I've kept all the threads loose and the locking of thread is also done. Now this is the last step. This is the basic step at every point. Make sure other threads are not moving. You're keeping your finger, keeping the threads loose. At the same point from where we started our embroidery, the floating threads, we have to lock them. Make sure you keep your finger while locking. None of the threads should be pulled. The floating thread should float. At the back side of the fabric, lock the stitch. Take a little fabric. Cut the extra thread with the scissor. One box is ready. If some floating threads have moved, make sure you adjust them for a beautiful look. As you can see, all the boxes have their own petals. So there are 5 boxes, and 5 boxes have their own beautiful petals. As you can see, the Kachi Bharat embroidery at the back is very neat. The floating threads are only visible on the front, not on the back. So now do the finishing of the fabric and the embroidery. Cut the extra threads. and the embroidery is ready.
So now let us conclude our video with the steps. First, draw the design on the paper, then trace the design on the fabric, then start doing the embroidery with the base, and then do the floating embroidery. Lastly, do the finishing of the fabric, cut the extra thread, do the ironing, and your embroidery is ready. That's all for today's video. Thank you so much. Keep learning, keep watching.